So does this sound familiar? You start your day with the best intentions, armed with a perfect to-do list, but by evening you're overwhelmed and half the tasks on your to-do list are not done. So today I am sharing a game-changing strategy that transformed how I manage my tasks, and it's not just another make a list tutorial. This method increased my productivity dramatically and really took away the overwhelm that I felt every single day because of my long to-do list. And I am going to show you how to implement it in this video. So hello there everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and here we talk about productivity, creativity, and personal growth, mainly for those with a full-time job and a side hustle and are struggling to balance both. But before we dive in, if you want more productivity tips like this, make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell so you're notified every single week when I put out a new video. Trust me, what I'm about to share will change how you tackle your daily tasks forever. So 4 years ago, I was drowning in tasks, right? Trying to manage my full-time job, plus starting a YouTube channel, starting a side business, trying to manage client work, and also personal life, which I barely had. My to-do list was literally a mess. Then I developed this strategy, and this is the only strategy that has really helped me stay productive and feel like I am in control of my day. So first, I use a 3-tier system for my to-do list strategy. And if you want to equally implement this strategy, so you create realistic to-do lists that ensure you are productive, go to the description box below and download my 5-step guide for planning your week for maximum productivity. This guide will help you implement every single thing that I talk about in this video. Now let's dive in. So in the 3-tier system, the first step is to do a brain dump. And I do this every single week, like throughout the week. I do a brain dump throughout the week. I do not schedule a specific time for a brain dump. This is an activity that I do throughout the week. And this is simply because I brain dump as I remember tasks that I want to do. If I do schedule what you call a power hour, where you kind of brain dump all the things that you want to do, that is a very common productivity habit. I realized that I tried doing that, but I realized that I really do not remember the stuff that I want to do. But what I do is I kind of brain dump throughout the week. Whenever I remember a task, I just write it down on my notepad on my phone. The next thing after I brain dump is to choose one single task that I focus on for my side hustle every single day. So the next thing is I schedule a non-negotiable block of time dedicated for my side project. And for me, that is 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Mondays to Thursdays. And the next thing here is I choose one task, just one thing. I focus on one thing every single day, right? If you have watched my videos, you know that I preach about focusing on one thing at a time because you have a full-time job and a side project. You want to make sure that you're focusing on one thing at a time, focusing on the most important to get the maximum result. So every single day during my time dedicated for my side project, I do have one task that I focus on, only that one task. I do not jam-pack things on my side project. I ensure that the one task that I do focus on, I am going to complete that task. This means setting realistic goals. What you can do is during this period, you leverage the Pomodoro technique for efficiency, right? And this is simply you taking breaks during sprints of work, right? Like 25 minutes deep work, 5 minutes break, or 10 minutes break, or 1 hour deep work, 10 minutes break, whatever works for you. Now, this technique leverages what is called the Zeigarnik effect, which helps keep you engaged and motivated, increasing your creativity and productivity. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of the Pomodoro technique until I learned about the Zeigarnik effect. And let me tell you, this 100% helps when it comes to increased creativity. I must say that I only use this during my deep work sessions, which I do on Saturdays, where I schedule 4 hours Saturday mornings to focus on more creative kind of tasks for my side business. So it is generally recommended to use 25 minutes for smaller tasks and 90 minutes for more concentrated work, what you call deep work. Now, the second tier in the 3-tier system is energy mapping. You want to match your tasks to your energy levels, right? You want to make sure that you understand your energy levels at all times of the day. So my evenings are for more non-creative tasks. And that's simply because I am tapped out by the end of the day. And my Saturday mornings are reserved for deep work, which usually include critical thinking and more strategic planning. Since I am more creatively alert in the mornings, I ensure that I leverage Saturday mornings to do tasks that need more creativity. So what you want to do is you want to understand your morning versus afternoon versus evening tasks, right? So I equally use task batching techniques, which is simply grouping similar tasks together. And this is simply to minimize context switching, preserve mental energy, and improve focus. Now, whether you like it or not, stuff happens, life happens. So every now and then, things are gonna come in that's gonna disrupt your schedule, right? And because of that, you need to account for emergency task handling. So when I need to add an emergency task to my list, what I do is I replace it with something else that is already on my list. I replace this new task with a task that I already have on my list. I do not just add a task to the list and make sure that I switch it, right? Because it will eventually take up the time for another task. Whether you add it or not, it is going to take up the time for another task. That's just a fact. So rather than just adding to your to-do list, you want to do a trade-off. This helps ensure that you have a realistic to-do list based on the time that you actually have and not the time that you think that you have or the time that you wish you had. Also, you need to account for overflow management, right? When blocking out time on your calendar, you need to account for buffer zones. You need to ensure that you are leaving some space, right, between each task in case anything comes up or in case a task takes longer than expected. This 100% helps you accommodate any overflows, right? If something did overflow from yesterday's to-do list, you having this buffer time can help you catch up, right? Catch up with any task that did overflow from your previous to-do list. So what I do is, if I am not able to complete a task on my to-do list, I reprioritize. I go through that whole process again. I reprioritize the task. Is it important? Is it something that I can delete? Is it something that I can automate? Is it something that I need to do now or I need to do tomorrow? Or maybe I can push this to next week, right? Once you have overflows, it is very important that you reprioritize because it might turn out that you really do not need to do that task, right? It's not that important. You might realize that that's not important. So it's very, very essential that once you have these overflows, do not just push it to the next day. Reprioritize. Just take a couple of minutes to look, verify, reprioritize, and see where it actually lies in the scale of importance and urgency. Now, quick question for you. What is your biggest struggle when it comes to your to-do list? Drop a comment below. I would really love to know. Next, I am going to show you how to overcome the most common to-do list challenges. So one of the things that most people always struggle with when it comes to creating their to-do list is wondering whether they should use a digital versus a physical to-do list. So what I do is I leverage the hybrid method, right? Where I use a physical notepad for my work-related to-dos and a digital list for my side projects and my personal to-dos. Now that just works for me, right? That's what works for me. So you can do what works for you. But I do really love my digital system because that I can easily reference my past to-do list, right? I can really easily reference my past tasks to really understand what are the things that I did. It's kind of a way where I can track my tasks, the things that I do. It's easier for me to track that way. So it's easier for me to reference a digital list than a physical one where it's so cumbersome to have a lot of notepads. Like I throw them all once they're done. Like once they're full, I just throw it away. But with the digital, you can archive all of those lists and always refer back to. Also, for a digital list, it is easier to automate and also easier to manage with others. So these are things that you have to think about if you before you choose to use either a physical or a digital to-do list system. But at the end of the day, you need to do what works for you, right? And I will always recommend you use Google Calendar because it is easy for you to sync with your phone calendar and manage your to-do list from there. Or you can simply use your phone calendar and add tasks to the part where it says notes, right? You can just add tasks to your notes, but that is not very efficient because you cannot add reminders. So The best thing is for you to use Google Calendar, where it has the task option, and you can add reminders to those tasks so it sends you a notification so you know that, hey, you need to do this, and hey, you need to do that. So whatever you use, you want to ensure that you are using a few tools for maximum productivity, right? You do not want to overwhelm yourself with this app for to-do list and that app for your calendar and this app for appointments, right? Ensure that you're using a few apps that can literally pretty much do everything, just for less overwhelm and for less stress, basically. And make sure you go to the description box below and download my step-by-step guide on how you plan your week, so you are dedicating time for your side project without burning out and making progress towards your goals. You can use that digitally, or you can print it out and use every single week accordingly. The last challenge we're going to talk about is a review system, right? This is a very essential part of your productivity system, which helps you determine what works, what you should spend time on, and what should eventually make it to your to-do list. A lot of people always struggle on how to go about this exercise. The first thing you want to do is you want to evaluate your productivity levels from task batching, right? And make adjustments based on what is working. You want to use time tracking and reflection to really understand your peak energy period for creative work. For me, that is in the mornings, and that is why I leverage Saturday mornings for creative work, since Mondays to Fridays, I have a full-time job. Then determine which tasks are which tasks are best suited for low energy periods like administrative work, and then you can schedule that for after working hours in the evenings. Additionally, you want to review your task categories, and then you want to assess what's essential, which are usually high impact tasks. You want to understand what you can delegate, which are usually repetitive tasks, and what you can eliminate, which are tasks that are not adding value or tasks that are simply nice to have. So at the end of each weekly review, ask yourself, did I move my most important task forward? Did I face any blockers? If yes, what were the blockers? You also want to ensure that you're troubleshooting common problems like overcommitment, shifting priorities, and even unexpected interruptions. You want to ask yourself, how can I address these issues and adjust for better results moving forward? So to sum this all up, the ultimate to-do list strategy involves a couple of steps, which boils down to brain dumping, prioritizing effectively, time blocking your tasks, and reviewing your process consistently. By using this system, you'll be able to get more done, feel less overwhelmed, and stay consistent, whether it's in your full-time job or your side business. Now, before you go, make sure you watch the video on the screen next, which dives into how I use the one thing strategy to ensure that I'm focusing on one thing at a time, one most important thing at a time, in order to move the needle for my side projects. Remember that productivity is not about how busy you are, but it is about doing the most important tasks that move the needle towards your goal. The perfect to-do list isn't about cramming in more tasks onto your list, but it's about strategic planning and execution. If you found this video helpful, please do not forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Also, please share with someone who needs a productivity boost. Also, do not forget to get a downloadable template on how I apply the system in my 5-step weekly planning guide down in the description box below. So try the system for 1 week and let me know your results in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.